So oftentimes we want more for different reasons. We feel like where we are isn't enough, or we're not being treated right, or we can do more, we're not challenged enough, whatever reason. I want to know, when is it the right time to move out from this company and go to the same industry, and when is it time to go to a different industry altogether? I don't know if that's...
Okay, it's a very wide question. Again, it will depend much on your personal value system.
Mm-hmm.
What charges you?
Mm.
So that recharge, you need to know what your needs are, what your personal development plan is.
Mm-hmm.
There's a saying that failing to plan, or yeah, if you fail to plan, you will fail.
You're planning to fail.
Yeah, you're planning to fail.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things we just jump in.
Mm.
So each one will have to have a personal development plan
Mm-hmm.
that helps you to say, okay, but I planned to stay at least 3 years at the company.
Mm.
Okay, so looking at that and taking everything into consideration. But I think a PDP is a good place to start, a personal development plan. Knowing and your value system right from the beginning, the 28 values that we identify.
Mm-hmm.
So certain things should be in your workplace for you to be happy, and certain things shouldn't be
Should
there.
not be.
So those are all things that we should consider. I often counsel people where that's, as I said, where companies call me in,
Mm-hmm.
where they're reshuffling and they're trying to optimize. That's something that's very big in the industry nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
I also, through some of the MPOs that I'm working with, they refer people to me that's my age. I think the oldest person that I've had that I've counseled was 62. That I've counseled that. Oh, by the way, that person was an accountant and went into, is now identifying he loves hiking.
Oh.
That's what recharges him.
Okay.
So he made a whole real career change, but it's somebody that's very intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got all the botanical names for all the different trees, whatever. And now places that does these hiking trails pay him, and he does the hiking and he identifies all the trees for them.
Oh, that's interesting.
To answer your question, to decide whether you're going to make a career change totally in a different field or in the same field, it's quite individual, but I can tell you an example. For instance, the moment it comes to your health, my husband was in the police force for 20 years, and I think you can only take that much drama and accidents and people dying. So at some stage we made a decision, and our circumstances were such I was in a stable career position, and he had a hobby. He was always doing electrical repairs. So there's a piece of legislation that came out in 1996.
Okay.
Even if you cannot read and write, but you've worked, for instance, with a plumber for 10 years, you can go and do the trade test.
Oh.
Same with electricians. And I was doing my assessor's course at that stage, so I learned about that legislation.
Mm-hmm.
And he went and he did 6-week trade test preparation,
Mm-hmm.
and he passed the exam. And he was a qualified electrician through his experience through the years as a hobby.
That's nice.
So one of the things that I do when I do this counseling for people that's really unhappy in their work. So part of it is, like you said, mental health and the workplace is very closely interlinked. So normally when I start counseling with somebody, I will have a look for, first of all, physical reasons for mental health issues.
Mm-hmm.
There's various reasons, thyroid, hormones. There can be a lot of reasons. Also looking at the wider environment, the work as well. And then we will also, one of this part of it is looking at their hobbies and other skills. And often we have a hobby or something that we do. We love woodwork. Another example, my husband likes woodwork, and he bought machines. We didn't have a lot of money, so he'll buy the machine and he'll restore it, and he'll get somebody to make this little part and that little part. And that was just because he couldn't afford buying those expensive machines. And at the end of the day, that hobby, as he was on this Facebook group for woodwork, and somebody said no, they need this thing. He says, no, but I've made that before.
Yeah.
So now he's also restoring. That's another division of the business. He buys up these machines, and he restores them, and he sells them all for 3,000-4,000 rand profit. So when I do the assessments, I look at all the skills that this person has, as well as their personal circumstances, because you can't tell but somebody they have to go into a new field now or resign, but they don't have a significant other that might be able to financially carry them. So it's all a bigger picture that we look at when we do these assessments. Really getting to know somebody, and we sometimes stand so close to the picture we don't see our own skills and abilities.
We can't look beyond where we are right now.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Now, let's talk about someone who is in a certain career. They're happy in that career, but they feel, I deserve more money right now. You know? Yeah, and there's no prospect. There's nothing that looks like they're going to get more money. How do they go about it? How do they go about asking for that? Who do they ask? What's the process?
Okay. Can't call the Ghostbusters. That old movie, who do you call? First of all, that little black book. They say every person should have a little black book. Not with the numbers of the boyfriends and the girlfriends.
No.
The black book where you've written down everything, where you've added value to this organization. Help them to meet the strategic objectives. So if I had to make a note for myself now, if I was on the other side of the screen, number one, know what your company's strategic objectives.
Okay.
Make a note of all the good and the bad and the ugly that happens. That when you get to that point, and I would say the first person to go to would be their direct line manager to say, currently I love this company, I love working here, I like what I'm doing, but I'm really financially, I need to have a better income. I've made this list of all the things that I've done to add value to the company. Would it be possible for you to please go to bat for me to see? Because that direct line manager will know what's the brackets for the different job categories. And they will be able to say, Katlego, wow, you are excellent, you're an excellent quality manager, but you're already on the top bracket for that.
So there is nothing we can do.
There is nothing we can do. So perhaps let's see if there's another post going open. Or they might well say to you, okay, what I have seen some people do is they go out shopping a little bit. They put themselves out there. And then if they do get an offer,
then
they go to their line manager and they say, but I have seen that backfired as well. So I would say the first thing is to write down everything where you've added value. Normally we have good reasons. It might be the interest rate has gone up and our house bond is more, or a car has broken or whatever. Why not share that with your line manager and say, I'm really happy, but I'm in the circumstances, our bond payment has gone up, etc., etc. I need more money. Would you be able to? This is what I've done. This is how I've added value. Will this help for you to go to bat for me? That might be a way of doing it. And then if it doesn't work, it might be a good idea to put yourself out there and, wow, there's amazing things. Facebook jobs was quite nice, but I just saw last night that apparently they've taken it out. It's only in Canada and the US that Facebook jobs will still work.
Is it not because there were a lot of scams?
Do you think so?
I think so, because some of them didn't seem...
I wonder that might be the reason. But anyway, so you can go and have a look at career.com, and there's so many out there. And then when you get that offer, you have to realize it came back with the poker.
You can't
so what if they say though that they will not counter the offer? So before you do that, you need to decide, okay, so if they don't counter the offer, am I going to take that job? Is it going to really be to my benefit?
And let's say you do decide to go for the next job. What are the things to look for? I was having a conversation with some of my colleagues, and he kind of mentioned that he believed that where he was going was better, but when he looked at it, at the greater picture, he realized that really it's not. So can we just quickly touch on when you're going to your new job, what are the things to look out for? Things like dummy pay slips, because sometimes it looks like it's more money, but all the other deductions and stuff will not be
I
worth
think
it.
you've already touched on that you've actually said it. I wouldn't go to a new job without a dummy pay slip. Knowing how the tax, because sometimes you get more money in the next tax bracket.
Yeah.
That's the important thing. I think that was about 10 years ago. One night we stay on the farm, so farmer tax is quite something there.
Mm-hmm.
And I just applied on LinkedIn for a post. The next thing they phoned me, and it was for the head of check for Virgin Air in Australia.
Okay.
Wow, the salary looked very good and everything. And I went through the interviews and I started doing research, and there was an expat website. And we all think the grass is always green on the other side. It's not.
Mm.
At the end of the day, when I did the research, even with that amount of money, I wouldn't have been able to have the living circumstances that I have now,
currently.
the size, etc. So it may be that, for instance, you get this nice new job. It's in Sandton.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you this big salary, but now for you to rent an apartment in Sandton is almost twice the price.
Mm.
So I think a good idea is to get a dummy payslip.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to relocate, to do your budget, to go again private property, you can see more or less what is the
expect.
property, the values of the property, the rental. Do that type of homework before you start asking them whether they're going to counter. For in case they don't counter.
Yeah, that's a good one. Oh, thank you so much for everything. What is your last advice for people, any level, school, high school, university?
Took me a long time to figure out what is the purpose of life. And I think I figured it out for myself.
Okay.
I think our purpose is to love and be loved.
Aww.
That's our purpose. As a parent, I actually came across that when I'm a parent. Think about your kids. Why do you have them? Why do you want to love them and them to... I think that's what the Father wants for all of us as well.
Yeah.
And once we keep that in mind, we'll have the big rocks first. We'll put the big things first. Our faith, our church, our community, our parents, our significant other, our children. And actually, whether people want to know it or not, our work is the sand that's filling it up.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the be-all and end-all. And I think the moment we realize that and we stop worrying just about money and stop pushing ourselves, being in the moment, that would be my advice to everybody. Be in the moment. This moment here is good. Where you are, don't always worry about the promotion. Where am I going next month? Be in the moment. Enjoy it for what it is today. Whether you're in grade 10 or grade 9 and you have to make your subject choices. Guess what? What about also choosing something, yes, that can contribute to whatever career you're going to do, but something that you might enjoy. You're going to take 4 subjects. Let's say, for instance, your hobby. You love making food. That's why not have one of the 3 that you have consumer studies where you can make the food.
Yeah.
You can always afterwards, there's FET colleges and there's online courses nowadays, a dime a dozen. Obviously make sure that it's accredited courses, whatever. But why not enjoy life?
That's very true. I like the part of saying the point is to love and be loved, just as Jesus was asked, what is the greatest commandment? Love the Lord your God with all that you are, and then love your neighbor as you love yourself. It is about love. Yeah, thank you so much for your time. I believe that the viewers have learned quite a lot from you. We'll leave Thea's details in the description box. Be sure to check it out. Be sure to contact her and get all the help that you need from her. That is it for our career guidance series. Be sure to check out all the episodes from the first to the last and leave a comment, leave your questions. Let us know how you feel about this, what you think about it, what are your challenges in your career, whether you're in grade 9, university, or your 5th year in the workplace.